under the blinding lights of Wembley Stadium. More than 90,000 fans roared in unison. A sea of noise, flags, and adrenaline. The air itself felt heavy with expectation, almost trembling as the ring announcer's voice thundered through the speakers. On one side,